Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to this other edition on the steps or the strategies to have a meaningful or a successful year. You're welcome. Good evening. Wherever you're watching from, accept greetings from me. If it's morning, good morning to you. If it's afternoon, good afternoon. And if it's nighttime, good night or good evening. Good evening to everyone. Good evening. I'm delighted to be here again on this series of strategies on how to make our year a successful one. And so, if you have been following me for the past 4 weeks, when I started this series, you would notice that we first of all started with self-awareness. So, self-awareness, we said it is knowing your thought, knowing what your strengths, your feelings, your passions, your weaknesses are, and then being able to control them, knowing and recognizing all of those feelings. And then we moved on to what our purpose is. What is my purpose on earth? Why do I act the way I do? And talking about purpose, we mentioned two key ways of discovering our purpose. These two ways, we talked about the cross method, and then we went over to talk about um, the shape method. So those were the two main strategies we talked about if you want to be able to know what your purpose is. If you are in that sphere where you're wondering, what is my purpose on earth? Why do I feel frustrated at my job? Why do so many things that I see happening in the society frustrate me so much? Then we moved on last week to talking about attitude. How does my attitude affect my productivity? How does it affect my relationships? And then how can I work on my attitude to be a better person? How can I work on who I am to improve my relationships? So today we would be talking about intentionality. If you're watching me, please make sure to like and share so that more people will be aware that we are live and they will join us, because you don't want to be learning all of these on your own. So today we are talking about intentionality. If you want to type intentionality in the chat, in the comments box, would be great. Intentionality, that's what we would be looking at today. If you're delighted to be here, please give a heart. Make sure to share with your friends so that they all know that we are live and direct. Today we are sharing about intentionality. So if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Annabelle Lola. I am founder of Bezzatelli. So I was very intentional today. I wore my Bezzatelli outfit, though we have recently rebranded. We have a new logo, but the brand name remains the same. The brand objectives, the mission remains all, and the vision remains all the same. So I'm delighted to see a few people connected on Facebook. I'm very happy to have you. So, like I was saying, I am the founder of Bezzatelli. It's a sportswear brand that I launched in order to provide women with comfortable sportswear gear as they go about their busy day or as they hit the gym. You know, when you want to go to the gym, you want to be looking good. You want to feel good so that you'll be more productive. And then I am also founder of Building Bridges, where you're most likely watching this session today. So if you're watching me, I would like to feel your presence. I would like you to let me know that I am being heard. I am my volume is okay while I try to share that here so that more people are aware that we have gone live. Okay. So I started building bridges in order to help women to build their mindset, in order to help young people build their mindset, and especially for them to know what their purpose is on earth so that they can live more fulfilling lives. So if you're here today, and you believe that you know what your purpose is, please type in the chat for me purpose. I would like to see some people put purpose in the chat, so I know that people are actually really putting into practice, or they are actually taking into consideration what we are teaching here. Because I did um, I did say that if you needed help, you can actually just reach out to me, and we can go into depth of defining what your purpose is on earth, because there are certain questions that you need to be able to ask yourself. And once you ask yourself those questions, you need to take time to reflect. If you don't still understand what your purpose is after the reflection time, you need someone to guide you. So if you still don't understand, then you need someone to guide you. And I'm always very, very happy to guide anyone that needs assistance. So welcome, 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 everyone. I am so, so grateful to have you. I don't take your presence for granted. Okay, so let's get started. Today we are talking about intentionality. And intentionality, according to John Maxwell, so most of my teaching today would have been taken from his book, The 15 Laws of Growth. Most, not everything. So he says intentionality is putting your thoughts into action. Intentionality is like the bridge that you cross over from where you are to where you want to be. So, where are you right now? And where do you want to be in the next 5 weeks, in the next 5 months? Where exactly do you want to be? So, intentionality is that gap between where I am right now. I am on 5/10 and I want to get to 10/10. How do I get there? Is that intentionality piece. What are the things that I must do? Who are the people that I must meet? What are the actions that I must take? So John also tells us that most people live their lives just in acceptance. They live their lives in such a mediocre way that they don't take time to, like, they never reach their full potential, or they never really pass a certain limit, because they just limit themselves to accepting what has always happened to them, or to accepting where their standard of life has been. But in order to be intentional, you must have a plan. Imagine that every day you go to the grocery shop with a shopping list. But what happens to our lives? Most times we don't even take the time to have that shopping, well, I call it a shopping list, to have that list for our own lives. This list here is our life plan. What is your life plan for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, for this year? We are just a month and a half into the new year. Do you have a plan for your life? Do you have a list of all the things you want to accomplish? When we take a shopping list to the grocery shop, it somehow restricts us to what we can buy, because we know that we are working on a fixed budget. But when we when we live our own lives without actually having a list, we are not as well giving our creator that chance to say that this is what my child wants, this is what my son wants, and I have the duty to provide it for them. So, do you know the things that you want? Do you know what you should be doing at this time? Because, like John Maxwell said, intentionality is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Where do you want to be in the next 6 months? Do you know who you should be hanging out with? Do you know what books you're supposed to read? Do you know what places you should visit? Do you know some of those habits that you have to stop in order to reach that next level? So we'll be looking at all of those. And as I pose these questions, I want you to either take them down or intentionally really write them. What are some of those habits that you want to stop? Maybe you have a smoking habit, you have a drinking habit that you think you don't need it in your next level. Is it time for you to stop those habits? Who are those people that are not adding value to you and you believe it's time to let go of them? It's just time to move on. So if you want to change your life, there is something that needs to change about your current situation. If you want to change your life, that is, if you want to move from point A, where you currently are, to point D, where you want to be, there needs to be a change. Something must happen. Maybe you need to learn a skill. Maybe you need to get a job. Maybe you need to get some kind of training, or you need to get yourself mentored by someone, but something needs to change. Maybe you need to let go of a habit. You need to learn, you need to unlearn a habit and learn a new one. Maybe it's as simple as waking up earlier than you used to do, just because you want to move to the managerial position at your job. So ask yourself, what is that change that you need to make? And I want us to set the ground, like, let's all know that working hard doesn't guarantee our success. You might be working very hard your entire life, but as long as you are not intentional, there is no way you're going to make it. You might be working hard, or you might be working so hard because growing up you saw your parents work really hard. They were always very busy, and you thought that that was the right thing to do. Whereas we now know that people have gone the way, people have made it better and easier. So why will I not just go find someone who has gone the way and is succeeding at it, and then learn from that person, rather than working myself out every day and still not getting results? Also, hope is not a strategy. If you keep hoping without actually putting action, then there is no way you're going to make it. There is no lazy person that has ever hoped to be a millionaire or a billionaire and they became a billionaire. So you have to take action. You have to be so hungry that you're propelled to work. Imagine that if you just wish to eat, but you don't actually take the step. You wish to eat, or you hope to eat before the end of today, but you don't take the step to actually go out there, do a job or work somewhere where you earn some money, and then go to the grocery shop, get some food stuff, come home and cook. Then you are going to die of hunger if you keep hoping that someone is going to do that for you. Or another thing is, if you're hoping that you'll eat something, you're better off picking up your phone and calling maybe a fast food delivery to deliver at your door. But if you're hoping that someone from somewhere would magically bring you food, then I'm afraid it's going to be very, very difficult. So growth doesn't just happen. You must have a vision. And because we are on this series of the strategies that will make us progress within this year or make our year successful, I believe that we have all taken time to write down what we want to be successful at. Maybe you're a student watching this video right now and you want to excel, you want to be the top of your class. Maybe you're an employee, you want to move to a managerial position. Maybe you're a business person who wants to grow their business. Do you have a growth plan? Do you have a strategy in place? Do you know where you need to develop yourself? Have you learned some discipline? Do you know those people that you need to associate with so that they would motivate you? It's also about intentionality, because not every person that currently surrounds you would be the ideal person to take to your next level. Some people are there, some people are in our lives just for a season. And so when we pass that season, they definitely have to move. So, do you know exactly what you want to achieve? Because if you know what you want to achieve, it makes it very, very easy to achieve. It makes it achievable, because then you know who you can go to ask for help. Then you know what you can do. What are the simple steps? Even if you don't have all the resources, you don't have everything figured out. So if you're watching me, I would like to know if my sound is clear. I don't see much interaction. I would like to know if my sound is clear. Please let me know. Yeah, so like I was saying, you have to get to that point where you know exactly what you want. You have your vision, you have your motivations, and you have that community or that tribe that is there to encourage you. You have those people that you can turn to and ask for advice. Growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better. But if you want to grow, you have to grow on purpose. So, growing on purpose means actually setting down what your action plan is, knowing what you want, first of all, and then setting it down, writing it down, and saying, on this day, I want to accomplish this. For example, if you're a business person, your business goal for the month is making 2,000 euros. You have to be able to write down exactly the steps that you're going to do to accomplish that 2,000. Is it that you have a shop, or do you intend to put some products in someone's shop? Is it that you're going to intensify your social media marketing so that you get more visibility? Or what are those things that you really want to do? You have to be intentional, you have to think about it, and you have to put it into practice. So we would look at 8 ideas or misconceptions that most people have about growth. The first thing is that people think that growth will automatically come. Oh, I'm going to automatically grow. There is no problem. Like, because we were born as babies, and then after a year we were able to walk, we were able to start talking, and then do things on our own, grow to full adults. Most of us usually think that growth is that way. But today I want to guarantee us that if you don't work for it, you can't get it. To grow, you must deliberately decide that going forward, I am going to read a book, I am going to follow this mentor, I am going to follow YouTube videos, I'm going to have a coach, I'm going to have someone that has gone the way, and I really trust this person. And I know that sticking along with them, I'm going to make it. So if you believe that you're going to automatically grow, oh, she's doing videos today. Yes, I'm doing videos today. Few years back, I couldn't do this. I had to build myself, and I'm still in the process of building myself, because I want to be better every day that I make a new video. I want to be able to improve my communication skills. I want to be able to improve the knowledge that I'm sharing with people. So if you think that it comes automatic, it doesn't. You have to put the work. You have to put the work. If you want your relationship to grow, if you want your relationship to be better, your finances, your business, you have to put in the work. It doesn't just come automatically. If you keep assuming that it's going to come, I bet you'll be disappointed by the end of the year. So we are just the second month of the year. Make sure that you're more intentional, you're more deliberate about what you want and how you want to go about it. The second idea is that people feel that they don't know how to grow. We definitely at some point all have that other person telling us that you're not able, or that you can't do this. But because we are not taught about this, about life in school, you go through primary school, you go through secondary, and even the university, you have a curriculum that you follow every day. But then once you graduate from the university, you have no curriculum about life. You have no idea about what you You have no life skills belt. You have no idea about what finances is. You have no idea about how do I go about getting married, about getting children. And then you find yourself frustrated because all through your life you had a curriculum, you had specific things that you had to do throughout your academic year. But then now you're in life and there's no curriculum, there is no guide. So today I urge you to have a personal development plan, because this is going to help you. Once you're writing your personal development plan, you would be able to state exactly when you want to marry, who you want to marry, where you want to marry, and why you even want to marry, how many children you want to have. And I'm going to drop the video that I made about goal setting or designing your life in the comment section, so that you can have a look at that video. I believe it's going to be of great help. And this law of intentionality was one of those laws that got my eyes opened about 4 years ago, because I had never really been into self development, or into is it self education that people call it. But when I started learning about intentionality, when I heard this for the first time, it it got something awakened in me, and I thought, oh, there is more to life, there is more to life. So if you think that this video is giving you that same sensation, do not hesitate to reach out. Do not hesitate. There is always help out there. There are so many people that will be willing, and I'm always available at any time to assist any of my community members. So you must have a plan. You must have a plan if you want to grow. The third idea or third misconception is about time. We always think it's not the right time to do this. I remember the first time I wanted to do a live, I was like, oh my God, it's not the right time. I don't think I am prepared. I don't think I have as much information. I don't think I have as much courage to do this. So we're always thinking. And if we just let ourselves taken by our thoughts, then we might never be able to do what we have to do. So forget about time, just get it started. Because once you get it started, you will improve from there. I go back today and I watched my very first live. It wasn't like I I have made a bit of progress along the way, but I believe that that was the starting point. If I didn't start that, I wouldn't have made the progress which I'm making today. So don't think that there is a better time to start. The time to start is right now. Someone was telling me yesterday there is no better time to plant a tree than now or 20 years back. So please, if you want to start something, you want to start a business, you want to go back to school, you want to do anything, the best time. If you want to start a live podcast like this, the best time to start is right now, not tomorrow. Is now. You can start with just making a video of yourself on the phone, as little as that. You can start building up on that for a couple of weeks. Then you'd see that you can slowly build the confidence to start doing this on live sessions like this one. The fourth idea is that people are more concerned about making mistakes than what they can actually achieve. And so I have one question for you watching me. If you felt like, if you knew that you won't fail, what is one thing that you would do? Because we're always very concerned, oh, if I make a mistake, I'm going to fail. But should our lives be limited at the level of making a mistake? I know there are grievous mistakes, but if you are able to learn from your mistake, that is the most important thing, and that is what matters. Nothing else matters more than learning from your mistake. So, do you think that mistakes are meant to break you or to make you? As someone who is on a growth journey, I believe that when you make a mistake, one, it tells you that you're taking action. Two, it tells you that there is something that you didn't do very well, which needs to be rectified. And if you take the time to actually reflect on that, you would see that there were some loopholes, there were some places that you may have neglected, that you needed to pay a little bit more attention. And also, if you can't really figure out where you made the mistake, it's the right time to turn on to someone and ask them, I think I am stuck here. Would you try to have a look and tell me where I went wrong? So we have to use mistakes as stepping stones, not as um, something to tie us down or to prevent us from moving forward. And then we have perfection. I have to wait until I have everything figured out. Some of us perfectionists, we always say, I have to make sure that everything is perfect. I need to make sure that I have my lighting right. I need to make sure that I have a microphone. I need to make sure that I have a studio before I can start a podcast. No, you don't have to. Everything doesn't have to be perfect before you start. You have to start from where you are. You have to start with the means at your disposal. For example, you can go to a studio and rent a studio to do your podcast there because it has better lighting. It's the decor is appropriate. Or you can decide one corner of your house, get the light. You can have very cheap lights of Amazon and other platforms, and you just set up and start. Or you just wait during the day when it's bright. You set yourself up in one corner of your house and you start doing your video recording. But don't wait until everything is perfect. I also remember that few years back, when I was working on launching Bezatelli, if I was waiting to get all the clarity which I have now, or all the information, all the knowledge which I now have, like Bezatelli might not be born yet. Like we won't be talking about Bezatelli today, or I might be talking about launching it in a couple of months or in a year. But it's about starting. When you leave your house, for instance, and you're going to a new city, you're traveling, then you can't see the roads, like you can't figure out the road completely. But as you travel through that road, you see it gets brighter, it gets clearer, you get more clarity of where you're going. But if you sat in your home waiting to see the entire road before actually embarking on that journey, then there is no way that you'll embark on that journey, because most likely you won't be able to see the entire journey before you leave. So the road will only be revealed to you the more you leave, the more you make progress, the more you take action. So don't wait to be perfect to get started. The sixth idea is inspiration. I feel I can't motivate myself. I feel like I need someone to motivate me. No matter how good you think you are, you have to get started to motivate yourself. No one is going to motivate you better than yourself. No one, I bet you, no one will motivate you better than yourself. And unless you get started at something, you won't get the motivation to do that thing. As well, when I was starting, when I was launching the brand Bezatelli, I started exercising every day. I remember that I'll go out for a walk or for a run until I started seeing results. It gave me more motivation. But the motivation for me to get started was the fact that I thought, or I felt that I needed to lose some weight, or I needed to shred some kilograms. So think of your own life currently. What is that motivation that you have? What is that thing that you believe that you want to change? And if you changed it, it will make you feel better. Think about it that way, because that's going to help you to get started. And once you get started, think about it like, can I keep on with this habit for the next 12 months? Because once you keep on with it for the next 12 months or the next 3 months, you're more likely not to stop, because the more you see results, the more you're motivated to get going. I think like 6 months into me exercising on a daily basis, I could see so much difference. not only in the texture of my skin, in the way I was looking, but I felt so accomplished that I felt like I didn't want to stop. So don't wait for someone to motivate you. You have to be your own self motivator and be intentional about it, because everything is towards your success. I want I want X amount of money in my business by the end of the month. Is someone going to come to motivate you, to tell you every day, go on, put up a post, put up a social media, go to the shop, or go? Like, no one is really going to come and push you every day to get going. It's for you to know why you want to get that done. Once you know your why, then it's going to be a very strong motivating factor for you to get it done. So don't wait, start. Once you get started, you see the results, you'll be pushed to do more. The seventh misconception, pardon me, is comparison. We look at people that are up there, up the scale, and then we say, oh my God, I'm not as good as this person, so I can't start. For instance, I could be looking at speakers in the likes of Lisa Nicole, Tony Robbins, Dean Grazowski, all these very prominent and great, or John C. Maxwell himself. There are loads of others. You might be looking at them and saying, oh my God, I'm nowhere near the straps of their sandals. So I'll just leave it as it is. Whereas if you start, you learn from those that already have gone the way, or those that are already doing what you want to do. Get close to some of them, or follow their videos more often, and know what are those things that they're doing very well that you think that you're also great at. Why not focus on that first, rather than thinking that I'm not a good communicator like they are. And as much as you think that you're not a good communicator, there is someone who just loves your voice and they just want to listen to you. So it is time you get started. Don't wait until everything is figured out before you get started. If you want to compare yourself with someone when you're starting out, compare yourself to someone who is slightly above you, so that once you get to their level, then you can set up the next level that you want to get there. But don't let your expectations not be too high when you're starting out, because it's going to discourage you. So stop comparing yourself to others, but look at it from the point where I want to learn, I want to grow. And then the final one is expectations. What are my expectations? I thought it was going to be much easier than this. I thought it was going to be much easier. I remember when I was starting, because usually when we see people on the screen, we think it is so easy, but we don't know the logistics behind it. So, yeah, your expectations might not be what it really is, but always know that you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. So where you're going might not change, but how you're going to get there might change. How exactly do you want to get there? All those goals that you have set for yourself, how do you want to get there? Do you have someone who is going to direct you? Do you have everything figured out? Have you done some training? Have you upskilled? Or how do you really want to get there? Like we said about perfectionism, don't wait to get everything figured out. Someone once said that do it messy. That is, start. It's about starting. Once you start, then you're able to kind of see, okay, this one isn't working, and this one seems to be working much better. So I'll focus more, or I'll put more of my energy on X side of things rather than Y side of things. And don't look at people with envy and say, oh my God, they're so lucky. They're not being lucky. They have prepared for it. They have grown. You know how many years they have been studying, how many years they had to unlearn certain habits, how many years they had to fight themselves that this is what I know to be true. Who are you today to tell me this is not true? I'm telling you from a point of like, I'm telling you from a point of experience. There are certain things that even right now I still find it difficult to unlearn, but I know that they are not the right thing to do. So I sometimes just adopt the right thing to do, but in the, like, my mind is still telling me that this is what you have known all your life. So how come all of a sudden you're just letting it go? So they have had time to prepare, they have had time to grow. Like, you have to build yourself. You have to change your attitude towards people, towards things, towards places. I can't live in this place because the people are this way. You have to be able to seize every opportunity that comes your way. And finally, you have to be able to take massive action. So every time that you think that someone is really lucky, know that they had time to prepare, they had time to change their attitude or ameliorate their attitude. They had time, or they seized every opportunity that they saw ahead of them, and then they took action on those opportunities. Because the only thing that distinguishes you from the other person is he who takes action first. Who gets there first is he who takes action first. Now, let's look at a few reasons why it is important to be intentional. Intentionality gives us clarity of our goals. It makes us be more inspired, it motivates us, because once you're more intentional, you know exactly what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, why you should be doing it. In your career, you know what you should be doing, when you should be doing, with who even. In your health, you know what you should be eating and what you should avoid. Clarity gives us focus, and it energizes us to make deliberate choices. Focus and direction is one of the things that you get when you're more intentional. Why do I say focus and direction? Because once once you set your goals, you know exactly how bad you want to achieve those goals. You're more focused. You say, today at 7 a.m. I want to be at the gym. At 9 a.m. I want to be at the restaurant having my breakfast. At 10 a.m. I should be at my job site. 5 p.m. I'm on my computer, I am working on my business. 7 p.m. maybe I'm helping the kids do their homework. 9 p.m. it's bedtime. So you're more focused. You know exactly how to prioritize. You have no time to waste. You're just like, I know what I want and I know how I'm getting there. The next thing is, it helps you build a more positive attitude. It makes you more resilient. You build your perseverance, and you're more like, you're more able to look at setback and say, it could be a setback, but I believe that I have learned something from it. Because you're more positive, you know what you want, you know how you want to get there. It helps us to manage our time better. What better than knowing exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it, with who? And it helps us be more productive because we know exactly what we want and how we want it. So let's talk about a few ways before I go, how to build how to build or how to develop intentionality. You want to be a more intentional person. What are some of the things that you need to do? The first thing is, you have to have an open mind. Be open to learn. Make new friends, try new things, travel to different destinations, try new things, speak different languages. but do not attach yourself to anything so that you don't get offended when those things aren't there anymore. The next thing is that you must have clarity about your values, your goals, your purpose, your beliefs. when when you want to develop intentionality, you must be able to have clarity about your goals, your values, your purpose, your beliefs, and this will help you to prioritize, thereby making you more intentional. Imagine that if you live in an area or in a town with over 5 million people and you shop in the same shop every day, you go to the same places, the same gym, the same playground, you're not opening yourself up to possibilities. So you have to be open to possibilities, be open minded. That's what I said in the first point. So be open minded means you have to be able to give yourself that opportunity to learn, to attract new people, to get other people's understandings on certain topics. Then the next thing is you have to face your fears. If you want to be a more intentional person, you have to face your fears. Fear of failure, fear of risk taking, fear of success. What will people say? What are people thinking? Um, People will just say, oh my god, how did she get there? Oh, did she fake it or did she make it? You're just so scared about everything else. You're even scared of what your health will look like. But if you're more intentional, you know exactly what food you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. If you're more intentional, you know exactly that failure is not your enemy. Failure is just a stepping stone as long as you take the time to evaluate it and then take action upon it. If you want to to develop intentionality, you must have an action plan. It's a must. There is no way you're going to be successful if you don't have an action plan. What is your action plan? If it's as simple as starting a podcast, do you have a number of topics? Like, do you have some topics that you have set out already that you're going to use for the next couple of weeks while you build other topics? If you want to start a business, what's the first step? Is it taking a business training course? Is it learning digital marketing? Is it learning how the product is made, or what is it that you want to do? But have a plan for it. Sometimes our plan might not always go the way we had originally set it out, but always have a plan B. Or as if it doesn't really enroll the way or unfold the way you wanted it, you can always adjust. There is always time for adjustment, there is time for pivoting. So work with someone who actually is going the way, someone who knows more about it and is ready and willing to teach you, ready and willing to give you some more information. Then finally, in order to build intentionality, you must eliminate all distractions. What are those things that are taking most of your time on a day-to-day basis? Is it social media? Is it friends? You're hanging out with friends more than maybe you're studying. You want to move to the next category at your job site, where you spend more time in a drinking spot with friends rather than maybe studying what would take you there, or spending time with your manager who has the knowledge about what you need to get there. So avoid distractions and focus on what will take you there. Thank you so much. If you have learned something from me this evening, I want to see some interaction. I want to see questions. I'll give a few seconds for questions because I've gone through what I had to share with you today. I hope you had um, an interesting one. I hope you had some value out of this. So, any questions that come in the comment sections, they will be highly appreciated. Questions, comments, any questions, any comments while I wrap up. So, like I mentioned a few days ago, our website is back live again, and I would really appreciate your feedback. Please take the time to go through the website and tell us what you'd like to see. It's not perfect, but at least it is there, and you can purchase your favorite outfits. So please do not hesitate to visit the website. It's still a work in progress, but it's there, and we can actually purchase something from it. All right. So I see no question for me today. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you had value of this, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great evening. Have a great end of your day. Bye bye.